Hi everyone. We'll just give it one more minute to see if anyone else is going to join, and then we will get started. Okay, it's 2 minutes past 2, so we've got a packed agenda today, so let's get started. Jack, if you could just move through the document. Amazing, thank you. So before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet today. For me, I am based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people, and I pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Great. So in today's session, we are going to demystify the difference between Microsoft M365 Copilot and Copilot Chat, focusing on what Copilot Chat can actually do in practice. We'll walk through its key features, benefits, and real-world use cases so that you can see how it applies to different roles and personas. And by the end of the webinar, you'll come away with practical tips and examples that you can begin using straight away. If your organisation hasn't yet turned on Copilot Chat, you're still early in your journey. We'll also cover the opportunities and considerations for rolling it out so you can start getting value quickly. Moving on. Great. So just a quick agenda walkthrough. We'll talk through very quickly who Engage Squared is for anyone that doesn't know. We'll talk through what we're seeing in the healthcare industry at the moment before talking around some of the ways that we've been transforming healthcare with Microsoft. Then we'll be explaining everything there is to know about Copilot Chat and then the differences between Copilot Chat and Copilot for M365 before moving on to a security overview, real life use cases, and then a live demo of Copilot Chat. And we'll then be handing over to Florence from Microsoft, where she'll be sharing some roadmap updates, and then we will be branching out to a Q&A. However, if you have any questions throughout the session, please do pop them in the chat, and we will do our best to answer them throughout the session. If not, then just hang on till the end, and then we will get to your questions there. So before I introduce today's wonderful speaker, I just wanted to briefly introduce who Engage Squared is for anyone on the call who might not be familiar with us. We are a Microsoft Solutions partner and we specialise in creating people-friendly technology. What that means in real terms is that we support organisations of all sizes to adopt technology in a way that makes sense to them. Engage Squared is also proud to be part of Microsoft's Inner Circle for Microsoft's AI Business Solutions. And we've been honoured with multiple Partner of the Year awards, not just for work in adoption and change management, but also solutions that we've built that make a real difference to mainly frontline workers. We won that award last year. And finally, just last week, Engage Squared proudly announced that it had achieved its Microsoft specialisation. And this is this is given to partners who demonstrate deep technical expertise, strong governance and security practices. And we're proud that we've now got that. So just to quickly move on one more, just to expand a little bit more on who Engage Squared is. We are a full service consultancy, so from strategic advisory and change management through to solution design, delivery and ongoing managed services. Our consultants work within the 4 pillars that you can see on the screen there. And our focus today is around Copilot. I'm now going to hand over to Jack Henley, who is Engage Squared's Channel Marketing Manager as of 2026. But Jack has actually worked at Engage Squared for the last 10 years in our adoption and change management practice. So he has got a lot of experience working with customers and most recently has been working on a lot of our Copilot projects. So Jack, I'm going to hand it over to you to run our webinar for today.
Thanks so much, Steph, and welcome everybody. Keen to run through this today. We do have a lot to cover, so keen to get straight into it. But I thought I might start off the chat and the webinar today just with a simple question around who is actually currently using Copilot Chat. So I've put that in the chat for this meeting. Maybe just a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Vote with your emojis. Keen to understand who's currently using Copilot Chat. And then probably the next question after that is who can articulately describe the difference between Copilot Chat and Copilot for Microsoft 365. So hopefully by the end of today's session, you'll be able to know what the difference is and articulate the difference between the two. That's the goal. I thought we'd start today just with a bit of a retrospective around some of the themes that we've identified across the healthcare industry and non-for-profit healthcare clients that we've been working with. We have a number of concurrent projects currently on the go at the moment, and numbers that we've delivered last year, and we're seeing some themes, and really this is what we think the opportunities are for you guys moving forward into 2026 later this year. We're constantly seeing some of the innovation and some of the focuses around employee experiences. So how can we identify some of those legacy disconnected systems or processes so we can look for opportunities to transform the way that people are doing their jobs, operating tasks, and the way that they work. So focusing on improving patient care and reducing some of that administrative burden and load for our practitioners and for our staff members, and giving them time back to do the work and to focus on the patients that they're looking after. How do we empower that? So some of the frameworks and some of the infrastructure needs to be modernized. So looking at some of those legacy apps and identifying what needs to be upgraded and to be migrated in the cloud. So understanding what solutions we can enhance and empowering that back end so we can ensure end users get the most out of Copilot. We're looking at a lot of supporting a lot of organizations at the moment with migrations and understanding what their security landscape looks like, what shape their data's in, and ensuring that we can move it across to the cloud so we can leverage that for Copilot and beyond. And really underpinning that security story, which is the foundation really for getting the most out of some of these really cool technologies like AI and Copilot. So what are some of the reoccurring barriers we see, and just sort of doubling down on some of these and how we can work with you guys to overcome them? So we're seeing lots of fragmented channels across the different healthcare organizations we're working with, being able to review and audit some of those channels and ensure that we can unify some of the communications with our Microsoft aligned solutions, both Copilot and more broadly across the Microsoft suite, including some of the Viva applications that we've been working with across some other organizations as well. Poor knowledge and document management. So where does the information live? Can we access it and can we leverage it? Looking to optimize some of those time-consuming processes, and the pressure of doing more with less is a reoccurring issue that we're seeing with lots of our clients and lots of our organizations. So we have we're currently working with a number of private health, public health, NFP organizations across that healthcare space. And we're seeing lots of those reoccurring challenges and issues from, as we just discussed previously. And we'll dive into Copilot Chat today, but really, I think we're sort of hopefully the takeaway from this session is understanding how you can get value now with your existing licenses, whether you're using Copilot for M365 or Copilot Chat, how you can start to see value today. And this is the sort of the start of that, seeding the foundation with Copilot Chat. Where we get to, and we have some more advanced case studies and stories across some of these clients where we've integrated M365 Copilot for some more advanced use cases, and then even some agents that we've built around line of business solutions for some common challenges. With one comes to mind with Uniting Healthcare, a great agent that we've built around taking notes on the go for healthcare practitioners and aged care healthcare professionals. So some great advanced use cases, but today we're focusing on Copilot Chat. Now, as Steph was saying previously, the idea of this webinar came out of the seed around, well, actually, what is Copilot Chat? So, it came onto the market last year, and we've seen some themes with the conversations that we've been having from some of the clients we've been working with, a bit of a misunderstanding or some confusion around how to get value from Copilot Chat, and so hopefully today we'll tackle some of those misnomers and some of those myths around the technology. So, in a nutshell, the difference between Copilot Chat and M365 Copilot, which is the licensed version, so the paid version on a subscription, is that the paid licensed version of Copilot accesses your entire Microsoft 365 ecosystem, and we call that the business context of you and your organization. So what you get when you're prompting and communicating within the interface of Microsoft 365 Copilot licensed, the paid version, is automatic access to meetings, emails, documents across all of your sites, channels, and cloud locations. So that's instant access. With Copilot Chat free version, you're able to get generative responses and information through links pasted into chat. So essentially, you can, if you're not using Copilot Chat at the moment, what AI application are you using? Copilot Chat allows you to access AI from within your work context. So so you have all of the benefits of your AI within your business. I'll just move on, and this will become clearer when I jump into some demos for you, and I'll show you how to get the most out of your Copilot Chat features. I think it's worth noting a security recap of Copilot and Copilot Chat. Copilot Chat provides enterprise-grade data protection. So you can be rest assured any of the information or any of the documents that you're copying into Copilot Chat, it's 100% secure and not being leaked out to any training models or any to the internet. Data stays within your tenant, prompts remain within your organization's environment, and you're not training, as I mentioned before, any other models. So really what Copilot Chat gives you is a AI, a chat GPT alternative to access within your business environment and where you're currently working. So what we're seeing with a lot of our healthcare providers and a lot of the personas and roles and scenarios that people are accessing Copilot Chat is within teams and within the flow of their work. So it makes it easy for them to access information based on their role type where they are. We've been working with lots of organizations, and with some of the governance and some of the purview functionality that we can access, you can actually see who is using ChatGPT, and you can see who is using third-party applications for AI, and the numbers are quite alarming. I think we've all been operating in the AI world now for a couple of years. We all have access to these consumer models and these consumer applications. And, as I said before, if you're not using Copilot Chat across your organization, and you're not empowering your people to leverage AI in a safe way, there's a good chance that they're probably doing it in an unsafe way, or accessing a third-party model. So I think that's probably one of the core messages that we want to communicate today is you have access to this. It is safe. It is free with your Microsoft 365 subscription. So there's lots of opportunities to leverage and to see some benefit from this technology. I just wanted to include some comparisons around some of the different scenarios and some of the different features here within M365 versus Copilot Chat. So there's a few workarounds, and part of the demo I'll take you through some of these. There's a few workarounds that you can leverage Copilot Chat for to achieve a very similar outcome to the paid licensed version, and start seeing value from the tool. So there's a few here, and as I said previously, Microsoft 365 Copilot automatically accesses all of that business context. So for Copilot Chat, for your free version, any questions or prompts that you have, you'll have to paste that specific document into Copilot Chat. So you have to be very explicit with the questions that you're asking, and very pointed around the sources that you're trying to access, and paste those into the chat. So we can see here some options to work around some of the features, and this has been helpful for some of the clients that we've been working with around getting value now. It's important with Copilot Chat, and there's some great features around updating instructions and Copilot memory to make sure that the responses are specific and relevant to you, and I'll show you how to do that in the demo. As we work through some of the applications here, really the key difference between the two is anything that you want to reference within the free version of Copilot Chat, you'll have to paste in explicitly. So paste it in, or tag the document in, and then you can start getting information from and responses based on your questions from those documents. Some other ones here, and some good workarounds and some tips and tricks on how to leverage Copilot Chat for your benefit. You can, again, these all focus on manual suggestions. So for Copilot in PowerPoint, for example, you can ask M365 Copilot to edit and update directly in that PowerPoint pack, whereas Copilot Chat, it will provide you some recommendations, and you'll have to manually convert and update that PowerPoint pack. So a few distinctions here. These are some good tips and tricks. Some of the organisations we're working with have enjoyed having this as a comparison around some of the features for the two Copilot offerings. So we'll move on, and I'll jump into the demo shortly. I want to give you some real life examples around where we can leverage Copilot Chat for some particular scenarios and for some particular personas. So jumping in either in the application across the apps or via the web portal. And we've broken down some of these use cases by personas. So we're working with healthcare organisations at the moment, rolling out Copilot Chat to their workforce. And here are some suggestions that we're working with at the moment for knowledge workers and for frontline leaders to get the most out of Copilot Chat for their people. So we can see here leveraging Copilot Chat to build out communication plans and training and learning data for their teams, building and managing budgets, presentations, and reporting. And we'll move into some demos with these shortly. Our next persona is residential and hospital. So how can we leverage Copilot on the go to deliver impact for these users? So looking at how we can leverage Copilot for this cohort. A lot of the cohort that we're working with different organizations with residential and hospital are non-English speaking for first language. So really seeing and identifying how we can leverage Copilot Chat to either translate content, communicate with Copilot Chat to in your mother tongue language, or understand any cultural differences or backgrounds for residents or patients. And this has really resonated with lots of the residential and hospital, but also a number of the mobile and home care workforce as well. We've also been working on building some agents for some of the organizations we're working with to reference policies and procedures quickly across their organization. And we've done that by building an agent, and then you don't need paid Microsoft 365 Copilot license to access that agent. There is a pay-as-you-go it's just model in place for some, depending on what the circumstances are. For this particular case, we've built an agent, and we're charging. The organisation is charged per per request and per response for that agent. So a really quick way to give your workforce access to be able to reference information and documentation quickly, through an agent that looks through all of the policies and procedures. Just before we go through to there's any questions in the chat. We'll go through to a demo now, and I'll run through some of the features of Copilot Chat. So hopefully you can see my screen. With Copilot Chat, and hopefully that's not too big for you. I might zoom this in a little bit. I'm using quite a big screen. Hopefully that's okay for you to see. So for Copilot Chat, you'll log in, and some tips before you start. If you go up to the top and select settings, then you can add in, via personalization, you can add in some custom instructions, as I mentioned previously. This will help to curate your responses to make them more relevant to you. And so this is a bit of a hack and a benefit of getting the most out of Copilot Chat. As I said before, it doesn't access the whole breadth of your business context, but you can be explicit and give it some tips and tricks around how you work, maybe your role and your expertise, and then it can curate those responses to make them more relevant to you. So I've got a simple Copilot instruction here that I've created around, I'm a healthcare professional and I want clear, jargon-free responses, in bullet point forms, because I'm busy and working on the go. So you can save these instructions in here, give some more updates, and that remembers that for your responses from there. You can also save memories. So as you're chatting with Copilot Chat, you can mention and point out that you want Copilot to remember a response or a point that you've been clear about, and that will again curate the responses based on the memories that you've asked it to memorize. So I'm going to jump into some examples around how we can see some value based off of the scenarios that I ran through previously. So with the knowledge workers and clinical leaders working in that space, often there's lots of meetings and lots of actions to be across and to process. So I'm just going to show you here a quick workaround to summarize your meeting transcripts. So even if you don't have the paid version of Copilot, you can record the meeting, save the transcript, and then copy that transcript like I've just done here, and then paste it into your Copilot Chat. And you can say summarize this meeting and provide actions. Paste that meeting in, and then wait for the response. And so this is sort of immediate value, and we're talking, and we work with lots of organizations. Often the most time-consuming element of anybody's day are meetings, historically. And so if we can start using Copilot Chat, the free version, to optimize and give us some time back in between meetings and to be clear about follow-ups, then that's a win. So if we can see here, just based off of that, and it is a fictitious meeting transcript, we can have a summary and we can have actions based off of that transcript that we can really quickly action from here. Now, again, this Copilot Chat hasn't accessed any of my Teams channels or Teams chats. I've just pasted this content in, and I'm able to get responses and curate responses based off of that content that I've added from there. Then from here, you can then ask for a follow-up, create those actions into an email that you can update the team and provide a timeline based off of what you've discussed. So here we go. You can leverage that response to update your team members either via Microsoft Teams channels or an email. So that's a real life use case and workaround for Copilot Chat. For our second scenario, when we're talking about some of those resident hospital workers, they might, depending on the role, they might be tasked with updating and creating learning content and guidelines for their staff members. This is a reoccurring scenario that we're seeing with some of the teams that we're working with. So how can we support some of the team members working in these healthcare roles? How can we support them in creating some of this content quicker? And I've got a prompt here around creating practical health and safety learning content for staff working in the Australian healthcare or aged care setting. This prompt I've pasted in also gives some clarity around what guidelines should be referenced. So we have here aged care quality standards, the Department of Health and aged care guidance. Also being explicit around not providing any treatment advice and to provide that output with clear information and clear language. So we can see here, we paste this in and we can get that response. And there may be, depending on the organization for this particular scenario, I'm sure that there's going to be some nuances depending on that location or that hospital or that healthcare setting. But these responses can really speed up time from inception to delivery based on the different tasks that you may have. And what we always say is these responses can achieve about an 80% completion for the output. You'll have to go in and review and add in any nuances or additions from there. The final scenario that I just want to run through today around our home and mobile worker workforce is, and I mentioned this previously, around providing some clear guidelines based on maybe some cultural differences for working in an Australian healthcare setting. I think I mentioned it previously, but a lot of non-English speakers working in some of these roles. With some of the organisations that we're working with, up to 80% of some of those home care workers and mobile workers don't have English as a first language, and so leveraging Copilot Chat on the go to understand cultural sensitivities, translate information to and from languages, and better to better understand and provide for patients is a big win, and we've seen this really resonate with some of our recent Copilot Chat deployments. So I'll paste this one in here, providing 3 to 4 well-being activities for a patient in their 80s in a residential home. And so from here we can see some options around how we can engage that patient and better meet their needs. And just sort of quickly on the flip side here, I suppose the question is, well, you can probably achieve this with some of that shadow IT we discussed, ChatGPT or another AI model, but this way everything's kept within your M365 environment. It's safer, it's easier to access, and if there are any specific details or maybe some sensitive information that is shared, it's not going to be accessed by anybody else, and it will stay within your Microsoft 365 environment. So there's some of the real life use cases that we're currently seeing at the moment. I'll just jump back into our presentation. Yeah. And so we'll grab some questions. We'll grab some questions at the end, if there are any as we go. Please pop them in the chat, and we'll discuss them at the end. But I just want to cover, before I hand over to Florence for an update of the Copilot roadmap, just want to cover some next steps, where to from here. So you've started using Copilot Chat, you're thinking about using it, you might be using it a little bit and maybe you're not getting the value from it. Really, when we're talking about some of this AI and Copilot technology, really 100% of the benefits are realized through adoption, and there's a real focus on ensuring that your teams understand what the benefits are, but also build up that competency and some of those skills to be able to get the most from this technology. So this is some of the work that we do and some of the help that we provide around really understanding what your use cases are, what tasks your people do on a daily basis, and where we can extract the value from that. So a lot of the work we do is around identifying what that return of investment could be, building out a business case of some high profile use cases, and working closely with your teams to give them more time back. The way that we achieve that is there's a couple of pillars here: some discovery, understanding how you work, making sure that your people are excited about the technology, understand the benefits, and can get the value from it. And there's a few ways that we can do that. Role-based training, product-based training, and scenario-based training, really understanding, focusing on that uplift of skill, and then agents and automation as we advance and mature the capability with your teams. Some different options here. You can start small and then increase as you go. Some options and services that we provide. And then once that maturity has been achieved, thinking about how to optimize through agents and other options aligned to business scenarios. So final thoughts quickly before we hand over to Florence. The big takeaway, I think, is leveraging Copilot Chat as the foundation for change and for the start of your AI journey. You can really build on some of those competencies across the features that you already have available, reduce the risk to shadow IT, and leverage the features that you have to build that competency and that skill set across your user base. Then looking at ways to enhance potentially with some paid licenses for Microsoft 365. Again, the approach that we take is being really specific around what what groups of users or what groups of personas or people within your organization would get the most benefit from that, working closely with them, identifying if the license will be worth it, doing a business case on that, and then expanding from there. So being really targeted around that and supporting you through that journey. And then as you progress, increasing that awareness of some Copilot agents and some more advanced use cases. So I'll hand over to Florence for a bit of an update on the roadmap and all the exciting features that we can see and that we'll be seeing from Copilot in the near future.
Hey, Jack, let me just pull up my presentation. It should be loading. Almost there.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I think it's still loading on my end. Awesome. So quick intro. Hey, everyone. I am Florence Lee. Flo Florence Lee, I should say, a solution engineer here at Microsoft. I spend most of my time helping organizations like yours across ANZ, turning AI from just being a buzzword into real measurable value, especially through Copilot for M365 and Copilot Studio. So today, I am excited to walk you through a handful of the latest Copilot updates from Ignite and beyond for you to take straight back to your team. So I'll cover what's new and how these capabilities can really help you accelerate productivity and AI adoption across your organization. So let's kick things off with one of the most exciting updates, in my opinion, is mobile enhancements to Copilot. So now you get to triage your inbox using just your voice. So Copilot starts by summarizing your most recent unread emails from the last 24 hours. And then it offers like quick actions, flagging, pinning, archiving, deleting, or even drafting a reply, all hands-free. So what you can also do is you can interrupt or even redirect Copilot at any point in the conversation, whether you want a deeper summary, to read a full thread, even ask follow-up questions or draft a complete response. And all of this is actually saved straight to your Outlook mobile drafts. Every voice interaction is actually captured with on-screen transcription and stored into your Copilot chat history. So this is going to give you smooth, transparent experience end to end. All of this, of course, is powered by GPT-4o. It's the same multimodal model behind our latest Copilot experience. So it's going to understand context, handles natural conversation, and really responds with speed and accuracy. Let's move on to another standout update, agent mode. So this is is going to bring that side-by-side Copilot experience directly into M365 applications that you use every day, like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So you can, start to automate some of that multi-step tasks just using simple natural language. So think of, rewriting slides, fixing formatting, or even analyzing data right within the grid, all while still respecting your templates if that's what you use. So in Excel, for example, agent mode gets even more powerful. So you can generate formulas, create pivot style summaries, build charts, or even clean entire data sets just by describing what you want. For example, compare sales region by highlighting all the anomalies. So all of this experience is actually fully interactive. So, Copilot is going to interpret your intent. It's going to ask clarifying questions, and then it's going to apply the changes live within the application there. And at Ignite, we did add some big enhancements to this. So web search grounding, for richer context. Windows desktop for support is being added as well. And even the option to use Claude for deeper analytical tasks are being added. Next up, we have Copilot in Microsoft Edge, which is constantly evolving, and this one is going to be a huge shift. So with Copilot mode in Edge, it's going to look across up to 30 tabs to pull information together, being able to do things like summarize YouTube videos, or even find sites from your browsing history, just using simple natural language there. So you can now ask Copilot to complete, multi-step workflows across approved websites. For example, help me find an expense report through this site using my receipts in this specific folder, and Copilot is going to guide you through that process end to end. So if you're licensed with Copilot, you can also unlock agent mode within the browser. It's going to give you that deeper automation as well across your web experience. You might have already noticed a small but meaningful UI change within SharePoint. So that little floating Copilot icon hovering over your SharePoint sites, that's the new a new knowledge agent, and it's primarily designed to turn messy, outdated content into more structured AI-ready knowledge. So right now it's great for things like cleaning up intranet sites, being able to fix broken links, improving search through auto-tagged metadata, and identifying content that's outdated or duplicated. So in the video, you'll see that it's actually automatically tagging documents with things like document type, review date, and product name, which then lets you create organized views. So automating the So once you have those organized views, you can automate the workflow. For example, email me when invoices are over 500 are added, and even generating new pages as well, just using natural language. You can do that through a knowledge agent. All of this, of course, without technical skills. So great for all types of roles. What also makes it very powerful is that Copilot and agents can now reason over that structured metadata, giving you more accurate and grounded answers. I think that's the most exciting part. And of course, because the menu is, adapts to your role, wherever you are in the site, it's accessible for everyone, from site owners to casual readers. Yes. Now moving over to a quick update on memory and personalization. So this started rolling out last year, and while there are improvements still coming, the combination of the two is already making Copilot responses more personalized and context aware, like leveraging your chat history, work IQ, and agents as well. So if you haven't used it yet, Copilot can remember things like your past interactions, what your work patterns are, what your preferences are, and even your writing style, so you don't have to, repeat it yourself. It also helps Copilot tailor drafts, understand your tone, keep track of your projects, and just generally making the experience feel more like you. So personalization is also powered by that memory as well. So both are completely private to you. And you can actually stay control of all of these settings at all times. So you can view, manage, disable, or clear memory. You can also open a temporary chat as well if you're working with sensitive information. Copilot Search and Chat Copilot Search and Chat are being unified into that one experience. So previously, you're having to switch between search and chat. It caused a lot of confusion about like which one you should be using. So now what you'll be able to do is you can ask a question, refine the results, and then take action. So all in that one place, you'll be able to do that. So you can search, then immediately summarize, draft, or even like dive deeper without having to jump between different tools. So technically how this works is the search results are grounding the chat using RAG patterns to retrieve the content from the graph, and then letting Copilot reason over those scoped context as well. What you can also do is you can even select which documents you might want to anchor onto that chat, and that'll give you that more, precision and transparency, just making it easier for you to not have to jump between different tools as well. You'll also start seeing agents inside Viva Engage communities. So these agents are tuned to each community's conversations and content. So the answers they generate are accurate, context-rich, and grounded in what your organization has already discussed. They automatically draft responses to open questions that you might have, and admins can choose whether those answers post instantly or go into a review process first. You can also see how the agents arrived at the answer, and once an admin or an expert approves it, it shows as a verified badge. That just builds on that trust across the community there. So this is going to really help communities scale that knowledge. So the agent is going to, pull information from past discussions, associate SharePoint sites and libraries, and any extra sources that might be helpful for the community. And to wrap up this section, Viva Insights is also introducing a new agent dashboard. So it's going to give leaders and analysts a central place to understand how agents are being adopted across the organization. So as more teams start using custom agents, Microsoft agents, and third-party agents to automate work, this dashboard is going to really help to surface those trends. Things like, active and returning users, agent responses, Copilot credits consumed, and which agents are most shared or, most versatile across functions. So you can slice insights by business units, or even get, Copilot license statuses just to drill into, you might want to drill into specific agents, just to help guide the adoption and development. So in this first release, it covers agents used in M365 Copilot, and over time, it'll expand to Teams agents, autonomous agents, and external agents, so that organizations like yours have a clear view of the agentic transformation. So that's it from me for today. Thank you for joining me in this little segment. I will hand it back over to Jack.
Thanks, Florence. Yeah, some great updates there, especially the Viva Engage communities agent and some of that insight stuff. Really exciting. Thanks everybody for joining today. Hopefully that was fruitful and beneficial for you, seeing some of those Copilot chat scenarios and seeing a bit of a sneak peek there of what's coming on the roadmap. If you do have any questions, please reach out, and we can support you and if there's any questions now, we have a bit of time at the end. Happy to answer them. If there are any outstanding questions, put them in the chat, or happy to have a chat. If not, thanks again, and hopefully see you soon.